Tabe has just released Arc 8 Chapter 19, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. The battle began upon Roswell's first attack. A huge fire emerged from Roswell's hand, covering the sky. Those fighting the undead were in shock due to the whole sky being covered in flames. Is it suitable to burn down a whole house in order to kill one insect? That's how similar it was to Roswell's attack. It was essentially overkill. Sphinx sees this and states threat level needs to be revised. Sphinx dodged the attack. In this case, burning the house down would not be effective since the bug got away. Roswell regrets that other people were present as he couldn't really use his techniques. Sphinx flies through the air and Beatrice attacks her with yin magic. Beatrice knows that yin magic is effective against the undead. However, Beatrice is hesitant as this person has the same face as her friend Ryuzu. At the time, Beatrice didn't realize it, but now she does realize that Ryuzu was in fact her friend, and that's the reason why Sphinx's appearance is important to Beatrice. Minya flies out, darting towards Sphinx, who is flying, but Sphinx simply releases her magic from her 10 fingers. This attack from Sphinx shatters Beatrice's attack. However, Beatrice tries to ensure that the debris of her attack hits Sphinx. After all, Minya doesn't have to be in the shape of an arrow to have an effect. At the end of the day, Minya freezes the time of the target it hits. So whether Minya is in an arrow form or even just fragments of debris, it will have the same effect. Hearing Beatrice, Sphinx says that she needs to revise her threat level again, but Beatrice tells her she's 100 years too late to rethink it. Garfiel then jumps from his position at Sphinx and makes eye contact, noting that Sphinx has a different heart than his beloved grandma. Garfiel, with no hesitation, punched Sphinx in the side of her body, knocking her down to the earth as her body ragdolls across the grassy plains. Roswell states it was good teamwork. Sphinx arises and states that she needs to again rethink the threat level. The amount of damage accumulated in her voice is apparent. Sphinx stands up, her golden eyes hold no emotion. Beatrice steps forward to ask Sphinx a question. However, a knife gets plunged into Sphinx's back. The knife is retracted and then is continuously stabbed into Sphinx from behind. A voice states that she has a very bad feeling about the kid, so she should really die. We see that the person doing the stabbing is Mizelda. Mizelda then grabs Sphinx's hair and slashes her neck. There is no blood. Her head and body get severed and Sphinx's body crumbles to the floor. Mizelda states that she understands that they have a history with the girl, but this is a battlefield. Garfield, Roswell and Beatrice look at Sphinx's body as it continues to crumble away into dust. Beatrice knows it wasn't Ryuzu, but still seeing her body turn to dust hurts. I should have thought this through, Sphinx says. You people, she mutters, as she crumbles away. Garfield and Beatrice reacted. They knew that Sphinx's line was not simply a throwaway line. Something was happening. Roswell then turns and looks behind him as he sees something fly off into the distance. Beatrice then calls out Subaru's name. With that, the scene changes. For a moment it happened instantly. Subaru was engulfed by a white light, and so returned by death triggered. Subaru knew what it meant immediately. The proof was obvious. He heard a voice stating, "I love you." A voice called out to Subaru. It was Emilia, who noticed that Subaru looked dizzy. However, Subaru is wondering what happened before he died. Subaru looked out the window and notices a foreign object in the distance, blending into the background, and he calls out to Julius, stating, "Julius, outside." Julius responds immediately. Julius then cuts down the wall of the dragon carriage, grabs Subaru, and jumps outside, using his spirits to create a soft landing for when they land. As they are still in the air, about to land, Subaru notices the girl and again reaffirms that she looks like Ryuzu. However, Subaru knows that Ryuzu could not be in Wallachia, so this is not Ryuzu. Not only that, the Ryuzus have different hair ornaments and hairstyles, so you can differentiate them from each other. This one doesn't have any of those, so it must be a different Ryuzu. Subaru and Julius are still midair after jumping from the dragon carriage. Subaru then points up to the girl in the sky. Julius sees this and finally lands, putting Subaru on the ground before he instantly jumps up after Ryuzu. Julius's momentum causes Sphinx to see him as a threat, as she pointed her fingers at Julius to attack, but Julius called on to his spirits to defend him. Julius lashed out, cutting the tendons in Sphinx's arm, making her arm become non-responsive. Julius then kicked Sphinx down to the earth. The earth becomes soft as Sphinx lands into it, and then the earth hardens and holds Sphinx in place, essentially holding her immobile. Julius tells her to not resist or he will treat her as an enemy. Subaru comments that Julius is much stronger, and Emilia says that Julius beat her in a short amount of time. Subaru turns around and is shocked that Emilia is here, but Emilia says that she told Otto what happened and then jumped off the carriage after Subaru and Julius. Emilia also says that she didn't bring Rem, and Subaru is happy for that. Subaru and Emilia realize that this cannot be Ryuzu, but someone else. Subaru steps up to Sphinx and asks who she is, and if they foiled her plan. Sphinx then states of the name of the person. This person is Valga Cromwell. Subaru thinks on the name. It rings a few bells, but he is unsure. However, both Emilia and Julius reacted, so they knew the name. Sphinx continues, stating that this is Valga Cromwell's plan at the time. Emilia pulled Subaru back quickly. Julius readied his sword, which was clad in rainbow-coloured light. An ice wall was erected around Subaru, Emilia, and Julius. Subaru was unsure on what this meant or what was happening, but Subaru knew that because both Emilia and Julius reacted, something must be coming. Shortly after, a beam of white light came down from the heavens, obliterating everything in the way. By the way, a quick editor's note, Valga Cromwell is essentially Old Man Rom. For those that don't know or haven't read EX 2 and 3, I believe it's 2 and 3, that's Wilhelm's and Therese's backstory. You learn more about the demi-human war, and Valga Cromwell, also known as Old Man Rom, was one of the generals of the demi-human army at the time, and of course Sphinx was also a part of this. So again, all of this is a callback to EX2 and 3. Subaru comes to again, this time telling Julius to get outside. He tells Emilia to come with him. At the same time, Julius and Emilia move. Subaru also tells Rem to do a favour for him. The same events transpire, with Julius knocking Sphinx down to the ground and encasing her in solid earth, restricting her movement. As the same events are occurring, Subaru knows what is going to happen next. So Subaru tells them to be wary of the sky, and that there is a big blast coming. Sphinx's cheeks harden at Subaru's proclamation. Sphinx again mentions Valga Cromwell, but Subaru just states it's essentially their leader, and that their plan is known. Sphinx states regardless, even if the plan is detected, the plan cannot be stopped. With that, a white light rained down, hitting Sphinx, Subaru, and the others, but the light of death was blocked by Emilia and Julius. Subaru realized that the white line wasn't Sphinx's attack. It was an attack which was actually targeting Sphinx. Subaru says that whoever thought of that attack was a madman. Since the attack was never meant to kill Subaru, it was simply an attack that came down on Sphinx and it caught Subaru and the rest of them in the crossfire. Julius and Emilia struggle against the white light. Julius uses Cluseria and his rainbow sword clashes with the light of death. Subaru shouts verbal support, however he cannot do anything physically. However, Subaru hears a voice saying that, "You called me, great." The voice had no urgency as they walked past Julius and Emilia and threw something into the white light, which immediately cancelled out the attack alongside Emilia's ice wall and Julius's attack. The entire scenery was back to normal. Sphinx was no longer there after being hit by the white light. The voice then says that the blue-haired demon called him and said that they all tried really hard and asked them if they wanted a candy bar. The strongest man in Kararagi had easily defended against the attack. As Halibel rummages through his pockets, he states that he doesn't have any candy. Subaru then collapses onto his butt. And with that, the chapter ends. So there's quite a lot of confusion about what exactly is this white light that targets Sphinx. And some people, again, don't really know. Is this a way that it sort of disintegrates Sphinx and allows her to spawn elsewhere? Like, people don't really know what's going on. Some people speculate it's a dragon. But again, I'm not too sure. I'm not sure why, but I assumed it was like Roswell's attack. Like, Roswell just launched an attack which auto-aimed onto Sphinx, which killed Subaru and the rest. But again, no one knows. Even Ice is confused about what the white light is actually referring to. But let me know what you guys think. And it's kind of funny that Old Man Rom is behind all of this, because it was his plan that Sphinx is enacting.